This is part 2 to chapter 1, Asexual Reproduction. Remember, a as a prefix means without or not, so asexual literally means without sex. Now before we've talked about sexual reproduction. Two main takeaways. Sexual reproduction is two parents. Asexual reproduction, there's only one. In sexual reproduction, because there's two parents, there's plenty of genetic variation or differences. Asexual reproduction, since there's only one parent, there's hardly any. No genetic variation, no differences. So what reproduces asexually? Fungi, like mushrooms, bacteria, protists, some plants, like strawberries, some animals, like starfish, can reproduce without a mate. Now I want you to remember the definitions of these prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the simple cells, the ones that have no nucleus, no other parts. It's just some genetic material wrapped up inside a cell. That's it. Like bacteria. Now, eukaryotes are the more complex cells, the ones you've learned about before when you learned all the parts of a cell, like the Golgi body and the endoplasmic reticulum and the mitochondria, nucleus, nucleolus, all of those things, ribosomes and lysosomes, those are in eukaryotes. Like all of our cells in our body, eukaryotic cells. There are 6 main types of asexual reproduction: fission, mitotic cell division, which is mitosis, budding, animal regeneration, vegetative reproduction, and cloning. Let's talk about fission first. Fission is cell division. Fission is cell division in prokaryotes that forms two genetically identical cells. This is why I wanted to remind you of the word prokaryote. Fission happens in prokaryotes. Now, you may have never heard of the word fission before, but you might have heard of fusion. Fusion is when two things become one. Fission is the opposite of that. Fission is dividing one thing to become two. And remember, it happens in prokaryotes. Mitotic cell division is when an organism forms two offspring through mitosis and cell division. So this is mitosis, like a skin cell. Mitosis is for growth and repair. So when your skin is cut and your skin repairs itself, you're regrowing skin. That's happening by cells splitting and becoming two cells that are exactly like the original cell. Then there's budding. A new organism forms by mitosis and cell division, but on the body of the parent. This baby, in quotes, is forming on this hydra. As it forms and grows, it stays connected. Eventually, it will break off and then grow to be the same size, but this baby, this offspring, hydra, is genetically identical to the parent. Animal regeneration. This occurs when animal offspring grows from a piece of its parent. We talked about the planaria. So if this organism was cut into, the head would grow a new tail, but the tail would grow a new head. So strange, but this happens. Now, this may not be, with animals that do this, this may not be their main way of reproducing, but they can. and both offspring are genetically identical to each other and to the parent. Vegetative reproduction. Offspring grow from a part of a parent plant. So, sort of similar to budding, but a runner would come. This is a strawberry plant, or there are different kinds of grass, zoysia, Bermuda grass, weeds that grow in your yard and spread everywhere. They may be connected to each other, like in a strawberry patch. All the plants seem all tangled up and connected. Well, some of them actually are. This viney kind of root projects out and runs along the ground. They call it a runner. And then it roots itself and a new plant grows. They can all be stuck together. They can break apart. But once they've rooted, they're able to live on their own without being connected. But a lot of times they stay connected. And then there's cloning. Cloning produces identical individuals from a cell of a cluster of cells taken from a multicellular organism. And it's performed in a lab. Now, this could be an animal or a plant. We talked about Dolly, the sheep, that was the famous sheep that was grown. They can take skin cells from an adult. They take an egg from a female, but they take the nucleus out where the DNA is. They get the DNA from these skin cells of the animal that they wanted cloned. They use some electricity and some fancy science, and they fuse that together, and then that starts dividing. They can implant that into an animal that then becomes pregnant, and when the baby is fully developed and born, this animal, this cloned animal, is genetically identical to the animal that was cloned. I hope this has been helpful. Love you.